Hi, this is Todd Ahern, and this is my final for University 501, being a grad student at GCU, and my professional disposition interview. I'm going to have an assistant go ahead, and she's the one that's filming for me, and she will be asking the questions.
What dispositions do you possess that make you a successful teacher?
I think that I have three dispositions that really make me a successful teacher that I followed along from the self-assessment survey. The first ones I think would be educators should believe that all students can learn and should set and support realistic expectations for student success. Being a special education teacher, I am always have realistic expectations for my students. I know that it's a challenging field that I am in, but I know where my students' wall is, whether it's academically, whether it's vocationally, or whether it's just their behavior in that day. Uh, I try not to push that wall where they are upset about it, but I feel that they can be reached, they can have a goal, and that with each goal you build upon every single goal. So I do believe that all students can succeed as long as you're scaffolding each goal to build upon each other. The second one would be sensitive to individual learning needs in the community. Well, here I am. I'm in my classroom, in my special ed classroom for students with autism, and it is a very, I think, a very user-friendly classroom with plenty of visuals for the students. There's spaces for them to relax. There's spaces for them to work alone. There's spaces where I'm at right now where they can sit down and they can work together in small groups and then go off to a one-on-one area. It really entices them to be able to learn individually, but also to be able to come together and work as well. It is a diverse group in here because that autism spectrum is such a big umbrella. I have some students that are higher than others verbally, and then other students who are higher academically but are not there verbally. So it's a big melting pot of the students, but we're able to really be sensitive to their needs and to their individual learning. The last one is that I think is educators should demonstrate professional friendliness, warmth, and genuine caring. How do you not, if you're a teacher, how do you not come to work every day and leave? Sometimes it's challenging to leave what you have at home, your personal problems at home, and come in and embrace the students and with friendliness and caringness and intellectual and emotional support, but you have to. And even your spiritual support. In a public school, it's hard for you to really talk about your spirituality with students, but that doesn't mean that you can't show it with a smile or with a nice pat on the back. Just show them that you're caring, and go home and you can pray for them. But really building the relationship with the students, professional friendliness for your students, with your colleagues, with the admin. We're all in it for one reason, and that's for the students. We're not in it for the money. We're in it to help the students, to help our legacy, not just the teacher's legacy, but human legacy. For them, we're responsible for our kids not to be jerks in this world. One of the challenges that I have is that educators, one thing I need to work on is that educators should recognize that reflection combined with experience leads to growth as a professional. I don't do a lot of reflection. I guess I don't write it down as much as I should. In my undergrad program, we always had to reflect. It seemed like we were reflecting on a reflection. That kind of got boring and monotonous. How much can you really reflect? But as you get into the classroom and you're starting to work more, you are reflecting. You're thinking, oh, well, that student didn't do well on this. How can I adjust to that? And, oh, that's something that I saw online or in one of my other colleagues' classrooms. And I can say, oh, I like that. I wonder how I can apply that into my classroom. So I think that I do reflect on my professional experience, but I believe that I could probably do more and have a more in-depth, and I think that will come as I get further along into my master's program.
You addressed what dispositions you need to work on to grow as an educator. Now, what does a professional educator look like and how do they behave? What standards guide their thinking and actions?
Well, I think that what was available through GCU was that model code of ethics, and there's 4 principles: the responsibility to the profession, the responsibility for professional competence, responsibility to the students, to the school community, and responsible ethical use of technology. I think that a good educator reflects on all those codes of ethics and is able to apply those code of ethics. It's a long list, and everyone applies them throughout their day, throughout their teaching career. But I don't think they use them every single day because it's such a certain situation. For the first one, that responsibility to the profession, how he advances the profession when beyond the school community, advocating for adequate resources and facilities to ensure equitable opportunities for all students. As a special education teacher, and as a teacher, as any teacher and special education teacher, I think it's their moral duty to follow that code of ethic that all students can learn, and that we need to have the proper tools in our toolbox to help them learn. Level the playing field and being able to have every student be able to learn, because ultimately that's our common goal. Moral ethic 2, the professional competence, using that code of educator ethics. It really comes back into it, and how that student acts in the best interest for all students, allowing the students to have more input into their curriculum, into their activities, having more resources available to them. On my part, just to speak on myself personally, the curriculum that I have here is subpar, and I did a lot of research over the summer and did my own professional development and really tried to develop my own curriculum which best met for my students instead of what the district has given me. So I believe that I'm continuing to work on that curriculum and finding activities to go with the students, and the resources that I have is just a continuation of me growing as a professional and a responsibility to my profession. The number 3 of that code of ethics, the responsibility to students. I think the whole demonstrates the ethic of care, respecting the dignity and the worth and the uniqueness of each of my students, of all students on this campus, the special needs students, the students with autism that